All right, let's bring her in. She is the television critic at entertainmentweekly.com. She covers all things Bachelor Nation. She's a multi-time guest on this show, but a first-time guest on video. Here she is, Kristen Baldwin. How are you?
Hello, this is exciting doing video.
Of all the times you've done this, you haven't been on since I started video. That's crazy. I didn't realize that until I asked you to do it this week. I was like, wait a second, I don't think Kristen's been on the video.
No.
So in a year.
Yeah. And here I am in my office.
There you go. All right, let's get started with, obviously, you are the main person to go to at Entertainment Weekly when it comes to Bachelor coverage.
Yes. Should I be proud of that? I don't know. But
well, I mean, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that we are going through changes in this franchise. I mean, major changes. Nobody from the old regime is around anymore. So you're dealing with a whole new group of people in terms of the behind the scenes stuff. And we're seeing that play out on their very first show with a new regime of Bachelor in Paradise. It's in Costa Rica. And clearly, I just want to talk first off about the visual aspect of it. Do you like the way it's being shot? Do you like the slow-mos? Do you like the music that they've gotten cleared for this show? The look, how it pops off the screen? How do you like it visually?
I will say it's an adjustment. It's certainly like people are saying, they're just turning it into Love Island, which I would like to point out that, Bachelor in Paradise preceded Love Island. So Love Island did sort of take a lot of its format from Bachelor in Paradise. Certainly the look is very different. So the format, maybe, Love Island cribbed from Bachelor in Paradise, and now Bachelor in Paradise is cribbing some of its look from Love Island. It's an adjustment. I don't mind it. I miss the opening and the silly opening, with the sort of 80s. That's just, of course, I'm a viewer who would appreciate, meaning that I'm older, I'm a viewer who would appreciate an 80s sitcom homage. But I think the sense of humor is still there, with the captions and all of that. But I don't mind the look. I don't know. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I've been under the impression that it's like, look, based on the fact that they took a year off, if they were to come back this year with the same exact show, it would have been kind of head scratching.
Yeah.
Like, I figured they had to do something different, but I mean, visually, it looks way better than the first 9 seasons. I mean, there's no arguing that. The location itself just looks like a Marriott on a beach. It's not like the hotel is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're staying in this luxurious hotel. It's a standard hotel. But when I first saw the hotel and I first saw them, going in and filming in the rooms, and we're getting conversations of them in their rooms, and having spoken to past contestants who were on the previous seasons and down in Tulum and Sayulita, you're almost like, it is kind of amazing that they put them in such awful conditions for the first 9 seasons.
No air conditioning, so many bugs, the crabs. Yeah, no, it's
like, wow. I mean, at least they're taking care of their contestants. And then I thought this was interesting. The fact that Jonathan went on Jason Tartick's podcast this week. And the one thing that he said that I found interesting was, in the past, we have heard stories about contestants going on this show. And if you're a bigger name in the franchise, you could negotiate a better deal. You can get more money to come on the show. Jonathan said everybody this season got paid the exact same amount of money because of, I guess, the cash prize that is going to be part of the ending of this show. But I thought that was interesting because then it gives, not saying that everybody is there because they're there to find love, but we know that some people in the past went on because they got paid a decent amount. And to hear that everybody got paid a flat rate and there wasn't a discrepancy in who got paid more, thought that was rather interesting note to find out about.
Yeah, and it's an interesting group of people in terms of the casting. Like, I'm still shocked that they brought back Dale, and, because I don't think he's done himself any favors this season, the way he's acted, especially this past week. And the cash prize, by the way, I just want to point out, again, not copied from Love Island, because that was a Bachelor pad.
Yeah.
It's a callback to Bachelor pad as opposed to Love Island. But yeah, I mean, I think they probably should all be on an even playing field in terms of, because none of these people are famous. They are Bachelor Nation famous, but none of them are celebrities beyond that. So I think it makes sense that they all get paid the same amount.
Yeah, I think if people had complaints about past seasons of Paradise, at least the ones that I would get in emails and just see online, it was way too many people are being brought on. I mean,
yeah.
Season 9 and season 8 had literally over 40 people that showed up at some point during the season. That's just, and we know the ones that they complained about were the ones that came in after like Rose Ceremony number 4. It's like everybody's coupled up. These people have no chance to form a connection.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense if that's what you're trying to portray is we want couples. And then the other thing that never made sense, whether it was when Chris was hosting or Jesse was hosting, it was getting down to a certain point in the show and then telling these people, you either have to break up right now or you have to agree to go to the fantasy suite and continue this journey, which was like, well, that seems rather harsh, especially for the couples that just came in. Somebody comes in on week 5 or week 6. It's like, of course, I'm not going to choose to go to the fantasy suite. I don't even know this person.
I don't know this. Yeah.
So I feel like, and one of the other things, the complaints was, I miss Bachelor Pad. So it seems like the show somewhat listened and said, look, we're going to make it so we have couples that can fall in love, but we're also going to throw a money aspect into it. Now, after watching the trailer at the end of Monday's episode, we still don't know exactly how this money is working. I don't get the impression, because it would really take away if they're trying to sell a love story, that you have to choose love or money. Right. If you're like whatever the final couple, because if the final couple did that, what's to stop them from saying, let's just choose the money and then right when we get off this island, just continue to date?
Get back together.
You can't prevent people from. So I'm just curious on how this money thing plays out. I gotta believe whoever quote unquote wins this thing is going to get the money and still be seeing each other and or get engaged at the end.
I wonder if there is going to be, and this would be different. This would be, sort of taken from Love Island in that respect, is what if there's a viewer vote? They have the capacity to do that through Dancing with the Stars, so. The
only way I think that could happen is if
it's live.
Is as if it's live, because then we could vote, because it's already been filmed. We're already off that island. So the only way would be, okay, you guys have all watched this season, go vote for your favorite couple.
Right.
And then they come back and tape it.
Take like a
be live. Just have to tape a reunion show, essentially.
Exactly. And say and then the people are voting for who they think is the, best, quote unquote, like most successful couple. Maybe, I don't know.
Because I don't even know. I haven't heard anything about a reunion show. I would hope they would.
Have you heard anything about a winner, quote unquote?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Do we talk about spoilers here or no?
Yeah. I mean, I have. I mean, the spoilers are out there, but I basically had the spoilers up until next week's episode, which is the 4th rose ceremony, and then nobody else is joining the show, which we heard Jesse say.
Yeah.
And then
is there like a golden winner and a younger winner? It's just one winner.
Or one couple wins. But how they win,
we don't know.
I'm not sure of. I believe that after the 4th rose ceremony, there's 6 regular couples, 3 golden couples. So there's 9. And then they do and then everything is basically a competition. And rose ceremonies are not, obviously they're not handing roses back and forth.
Right.
It's more of the rose ceremony is quote unquote an elimination ceremony.
Okay.
But how people are eliminated, I don't know if it's like, hey, if you came in last in this challenge, you're automatically gone, or every time they go to a rose ceremony, they vote a couple off. And
which is what they did on Bachelor Pad, right? Like there was like voting.
Yeah, you put a name in a box.
Yeah,
but I don't with this, I don't know if you're voting as a couple, like are Kat and Dale voting as a couple to get rid of somebody, or individually, you get to vote for which couple you want on. That's the details I don't know.
I like that there are these questions because, as we talked about, like it always would get so boring toward the end of Bachelor in Paradise, like when new people would come in because it just didn't make any sense. And it was like there was this lull of like, if there was no drama with any of the couples and new people would come in and everyone was already, closed off, as they say on Love Island, like there was just really nothing interesting happening essentially. So at least maybe now, if there are going to be some twists in terms of how they, how couples quote unquote advance, I guess, in this game, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. And it looks like they're playing games. I mean, he came from Summer House and Claim to Fame. It seems like these games are very Claim to Fame-ish.
Yeah.
The challenges or whatever. But again, I don't know if you get some sort of, like, if you win one of these challenges, your couple, Dale and Kat, Jess and Spencer, whoever the couple is, if you win at the challenge or come in first place, does that automatically make you immune from being voted on at that rose ceremony? Like that's something I don't know.
Yeah. And so, I assume the challenges are going to be like, how well do you know each other? That kind of
like
thing.
compatibility stuff.
Compatibility, yeah.
But there did look like, just looking at the previews, there did look like there was a couple strength related ones.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just the guys' portion of it and the women's portion is something else. But it looks like it's a mix of things. And
some of those games, like, remember Bachelor Pad, how dumb the games were, like pie eating contest, water balloons, but then there were like endurance type things. Remember when they were hanging over the mattresses?
That's right.
So there could be things like that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of because you got 9 couples and you got to eliminate, I would think, 7 of them, because I would think you'd have to get down to a final 2 couples or maybe even a final 3 couples. And from what I understand, and I think this is the case, but I'm not 100% sure. I think so the 9 couples that we start with, the 3 Goldens and the 6 regulars, I think the eliminated couples are the ones that vote on who they think is the favorite. That's why I don't know if the voting for America is.
We've seen that on Love Island on UK when the ousted people come back and they have to
And I think that's how it happens this season. The other couples vote on.
That's
and I don't know if it's what are you voting it on, based on who you like the most, who you thought was.
Yeah,
it's probably, who do you think, after spending all this time here, who do you think is the most realistic couple?
Who can last?
Can last? I'm guessing that's who they're voting on, and I don't think it's very hard to figure out who is the couple that ultimately wins this thing. But it is interesting. I don't know where it goes next season, because now I feel like, because all these people that came on this season had no idea what they were getting into. They had no idea it was going to be a money prize. They had no idea they were competing. I almost feel like next season, not that these people are going to stop contacting each other before the season, but I almost feel like, hey, I think we could be a great team. We could really do well in these challenges.
Yeah.
We can start knowing stuff about each other.
Yeah, exactly. Start getting, like
for compatibility tests.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So they'll either have to sort of switch up the rules, or that puts more pressure on the casting to make sure that they're not, people aren't gaming the system.
And I really feel like this season, and I'm not throwing shade at this cast, but I guess I kind of am in a little bit of a way. Not against anything, and not against anything about them as people. I'm sure they're all wonderful people. But in terms of taking a year off and then coming back, I can't say this cast has a lot of star quality to it. I mean, I would say Dale and Kat are the most known names, because while Spencer and Jess seemingly are the couple that's literally been in love since 5 minutes they arrived on
into it. Yes.
Spencer and Jess, wonderful people, were nobodies on their particular season.
Absolutely.
Spencer was
Jonathan
not memorable. Spencer
Spencer
wasn't memorable on Jen's season, and Jess was not memorable on Joey's season. So people aren't saying like, Got to tune in Monday nights. Spencer and Jess are on. It's just
Exactly.
you're not. But you would say that for someone like Kat, who's very polarizing.
Well, people
and,
like Jonathan too.
And Jonathan,
like he was, people loved him and thought he deserved to go farther. And yeah, the people, I like Justin. He's gone.
Susie was a huge name, and she lasted in real
30
time
seconds.
24 hours.
Yeah. So it'll be, and Zoe was somebody who at least like had a storyline on her season. So yeah. And I like Parisa. I hate that she's with what's his name? Brian. Can't stand him. Bailey and Jeremy. Like Jeremy's already revealed himself to be kind of an ass. So it's a weird first group. It's a weird group.
Now, most of these, because there's 24 young ones, 12 from the Golden franchise, but the 24 of the 24, most of them are from the 3 most recent seasons.
Yeah.
Grant, Jen, and Joey. I mean, they did not go back far, and they only gave us 24 young ones, which, again, until this season played out, I didn't know how I was going to feel about only 24. I was never a fan of 40. I said that's way too much.
And they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel with that. I mean, I'm bummed out that like people like Hakeem didn't have more time. I really liked him.
There were some. I mean, if you go back, I mean, obviously the names being thrown around are why weren't they on it? Greg Grippo, Maria. I mean, these are people that I guess you would consider that's star quality name.
Right.
But
people that
I don't know. Was Greg not asked? Was Greg asked and he turned it down?
He said no, yeah.
Maria, did she turn it down? Like she seems to be all about wanting to be famous. But maybe she turned it down or maybe they didn't ask. I don't even know. Seemingly you would have to think they would ask Maria and they would want Maria on the show. This show is right up Maria's alley. So maybe she turned it down and didn't want to be a part of it. I don't know. But that's where we're at. What about the Golden editions for you? Have you enjoyed the fact that they incorporated the Goldens even though it was in episode 3?
I have. I think it's been really sweet. And certainly they were never going to, I'm glad that they upgraded their accommodations because you're never going to make the poor Goldens live in like a buggy, crabby, no air conditioning. But I think it's been really sweet. I love this week's episode when they were all doing water aerobics together. I think the Goldens are fun with the younger ones. I'm a little uncomfortable with like how much April is flirting with Jonathan. I know it's like jokey, but it's like you can tell he's a little uncomfortable with it. So and none of us ever really expected there to be a May-December romance, but I think it's been cute, and I like seeing them in the mix. What do you think?
I think with the water aerobics, that was good for them because, hey, it finally got Hannah Brown on camera this season.
Right? What has she been doing? She hasn't really had anything. They haven't given her anything to do.
No, I don't. Even like when she was first announced, remember they said that she's like, what did they say that she was like the champagne room?
The champagne lounge, and
we haven't seen her in the champagne lounge once.
I don't think there's a literal lounge. I think it's literally when they come down to the cocktail party. They have to go to her first, and she gives them champagne. But that's not a job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that they should let her. I mean, I like her a lot. I'm just not sure she's needed. If Jesse's going to host the challenges and Wells is the bartender, what's left? There's really nothing left.
And I'm sure they used her for the name value. She is the most followed contestant, female contestant in the history of this franchise. But it's one thing to bring her on. It's another thing to completely misuse her because she isn't being...
They just didn't have a role for her. And so I'm not really sure what they were thinking.
They tried to create one and it just isn't working. And maybe maybe she had a ton of stuff and they've just left it on the editing room floor, but you had 2 3-hour episodes to start the season and she barely had any time.
Had any time.
So it doesn't look like she had a lot of footage on there where they were just like, oh, we got to include this.
Yeah.
She had 3 hours where you could have used it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I thought it would because when the contestants are talking to each other, gosh, I mean, I've seen Wells, pouring drinks, but I don't even see them going to Wells for advice like they did in the previous 9 seasons. Like you would see Wells having a one-on-one conversation at a bar with some.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting that from Wells. I mean, he's being, I guess, underutilized, which I know you like. I know
I like, I think he's good at like sort of the narration, like recapping what's been happening. And so I think he'll always be, even if they're not going to him as much, because now they're kind of like going to the Goldens and talking to them, which makes sense. But they certainly don't need an additional person, as much as I like Hannah. But it's, I think they're still sorting out. I'm not sure if they just thought that would be elevated, because when I spoke to the exec producer, Scott Teddy, he just kept talking about how it was elevated. Everything was going to be elevated. And so maybe they thought having Hannah there as like a Julie, the cruise director, made it feel elevated, So I think they're just working out some of those kinks.
And it does. I mean, I understand him saying it's elevated because the look is.
It looks much better.
It looks way better. And this is the response that I've gotten, the people who are down on how it looks, and I don't want to, pigeonhole them, but when I get a message on Instagram or I see a comment on Instagram, usually means I can see their picture.
Yeah.
And it is of the older generation that isn't the ones that are fans of the look, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they have to understand, like, this is kind of the way reality shows are going. You can complain all you want, like, oh, you're starting to make it like Love Island. Love Island is absolutely destroying this show in terms of where it is in the pop culture zeitgeist.
Correct.
And how popular it is among fans. So it's not a bad thing if they're going to copy the look and the feel and the slow-mo shots and the music that they play. There's so much more music being played during this season than I ever can remember in 9 seasons previous. So if you're going to copy a show, copy one that's literally
popular. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you feel like, somebody said to me, this is sort of changing the subject a little, but just that they feel like Big Brother is trying to copy the vibe of The Traitors this season with Hotel Mystère. I don't know what you think of that.
Actually, I never even thought about that until you mentioned it. And yeah, it is. Now that I think about it, I mean, the feel certainly, Traitors doesn't throw many twists in. It's pretty straightforward. There's I always forget how they label it. The round table. They have the round table where someone, and then the turret meeting where someone gets killed, and then there is someone's killed the next morning, and then the round table, someone is voted out. So,
but the sort of mysterious, exactly.
I see that look. Yeah, I never really put 2 and 2 together, but yeah. And I'm not sure with this. Again, like, I don't know how you're going to do it next year. You have to you probably have to throw in another twist, because everybody coming in next year, like we said, is going to expect this. But then again, we don't even know if it's going to be around next year. Like, I have no idea. It's not like the ratings are through the roof on this season of Paradise. But episode 4 did jump from episodes 2 and 3 last week. I did notice that.
Putting back to back was crazy too. Like, I don't know why they did that, but
and looking at the schedule, this is weird in that it's looking like the finale is on Labor Day night, which is kind of. I don't know why they would end this season on Labor Day, but if you map out the rest of the season, because September 8th is the beginning of Monday Night Football, and ABC has the first game of the season simulcast with ESPN. So it can't go past September 8th, which brings us to the week before. It's got to end by September 1st. Well, September 1st is Labor Day this year. So
do you think they might move it to the 2nd, like put it on a Tuesday?
I mean, if you have your whole season on Monday night, throwing your finale on Tuesday is a death sentence, It's possible. I'm not going to rule it out. Maybe you do. Look, they still might. We don't know. I don't know about a reunion show. Maybe they do all the stuff that was filmed back in May on Monday, they tape some sort of reunion show at the end of August and they show it on Tuesday night. Maybe that's a possibility.
Because that's also, I mean, certainly the way reality is going is having like the big, there's the finale, but then there's the reunion show, which is kind of the real finale. So
yeah. And you know how Bravo drags out the reunion finales for 3 episodes.
3 parts.
Yeah, we're not going to get that with this, but maybe they do show whatever that was filmed in Costa Rica in the finale on Monday, September 1st. And if there's going to be a reunion show, you come back, you tape that, a week before, 10 days before, so they can edit it. And then that's shown on Tuesday the 2nd. I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I think every reality show should have a reunion show at this point. Every competition reality show.
I think you got to at this point. All right, moving on in the golden world. The biggest story is the fact that this show has decided to keep Mel Owens as their Golden Bachelor. He starts filming this week. There are public dates coming up this Friday and Sunday, and I mean, I've talked about this nonstop ever since the podcast he did in early June got out there. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know there are people out there. There are people who come to me that say, "Yeah, see, but this is what they don't care, and this is what they want. They want people talking about their show, and they want people to tune in and maybe even, kind of hate watch this." Yeah. But this is your lead. This is your lead that's screwed up before the season even started versus we found out something about a contestant or something, the Devin situation, which was already after. There's nothing they can do at that point. You had a good month. I mean, I reported it like third week of January or third week of June about the podcast that came out on June 4th. And not only did they not recast him, they haven't released a statement. They haven't even had Mel go on a Bachelor affiliated podcast, whether it was Happy Hour or Caitlin or Ben and Ashley, just to say, you know what, boy, I sound like a total idiot. But again, even if he did do that, I wouldn't believe him because it's not like,
this is obviously what he believes, what he feels. And no,
and he said, to be honest with you, like my age range is 45 to 60, which there's nothing wrong with him wanting to date somebody younger. It's not surprising.
Prerogative.
But for this show and to be the Golden Bachelor, he can't have that mindset. So he had to be replaced. And they just said, nope.
Well, what's interesting to me is when, he's recounting that story on his podcast that he said, or on the podcast, he's recounting that he told the producers this on their first meeting after he was officially cast, and that their response was like, no, you can't do that, but don't worry, the ladies will be hot. And what I don't understand is, I mean, I don't understand a lot of it, but what I don't understand is like why he would want to be Golden Bachelor. Like, surely if he's in the running, he would go and look at like, who were the contestants last time and how old were they and how in relation to how old the lead was. Why would he keep saying yes as, the casting process was moving along if, he gathered the information that guess what? They're not going to be 45 to 60. They're going to be 60 and up. And maybe 1 or 2 is going to be 59, And so he said yes. Then he gets cast and he tells them, I don't want to date anyone over 60. They tell him, nope, that's not the way it's going to be, but don't worry, it will be fine. At this point, he's just going along because he wants to be on TV. Why are they, in that first meeting, they still had time to say, well, bro, this is not going to work out. We'll go with number 2. Because the whole point with this show is, we've talked about this, we want sincerity. We want a sweet man in his, final phase of life, second half of his life, second act, third act, whatever. And we want him to find love. And if we don't believe it, what's the point?
Yeah, it just isn't making any sense. And you could say, oh, this is for television aspect. And you can say, well, they're probably just going to throw them under the bus and they're going to allow these women to insult them. But it's like, but then that's not what people are tuning into the Golden franchise for. You can maybe get away with that and Bachelor and Bachelorette, because they have thrown a couple of their leads under the bus because they had already filmed the season. And they're just like, oh, this isn't great. So we don't care how he looks or how she looks.
Yeah.
This is different. I know, it's a small sample size. You've only had 2 seasons of Golden, but the whole point is why you created this franchise is to probably get away from the drama aspect of Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Do something more sincere and romantic. Yeah. So
I don't understand it, Kristen. Like they had time. It's not like they didn't have time. They also know that all you got to do is go read the comments once this story hit. Go read any captions under anything that I've posted, any of the content creators that have come out and talked about this, whether it's myself or Dave Neal or She's All Batch or Game of Roses. Just read the comments under all of this. Nobody is excited about this guy. Nobody's even saying, hey, let's give him a chance at least.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And I'm just shocked that he didn't go on the podcast, on somebody's podcast and apologize. And I guess at this point, they're thinking they're just going to have him address it in the first episode, where like he's going to sit down with Jesse and do the big like mea culpa and just be like, I've really learned and grown so much as a person, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like, okay, but that seems a little late to me, that seems, and certainly he's going to do press beforehand. He's going to speak to me beforehand and all of that. But like, I still feel like that's late. I feel like that's late. And
it's late and it's tone deaf because again, like we said, it doesn't change the fact that he said, hey, I'm just being honest. 45 to 60 is my range.
It's my range. And it's
it doesn't change.
At most we can hope that he like finds somebody and they're together for a few months and then they break up like everybody else, if I ever, and it's depressing because this is kind of, after the whole Gary thing, this is their shot to get this show right. And
they're starting out literally behind the 8 ball with this lead.
With a man who, I'm not saying he can't win us back over, but it's going to be a really, really tough mountain to climb for them. And I feel bad for the women,
And you know what? And not that this means you have to like somebody, but with Gary, there was a sincerity there because he was widowed. Hey, Mel isn't widowed. So he might have some tragedy in his back and Mac's story, and maybe we'll learn about that, but he's not widowed. His ex-wife has already come out and said, basically, this is going to be terrible. Like she was contacted because of that, he owed her money. I guess he's paid her. But she's a woman that's 20 years younger than him, and he married her when she was like early 20s, 21 or 22, and he was 41 or 42, marrying a young 20-year-old, which again, he's allowed to do,
that's
but
his prerogative. But
for this, doesn't work. And I even said, look, you could have gotten away with this by just saying, gave a generic statement if you're ABC or whoever the production company is now behind the show. It's not, is it still NZK? It's not NZK, is it?
Yeah.
And it is. Okay.
Brothers, yeah.
And just said we had to replace him because he went on, he did a podcast that he wasn't contractually obligated to do. There is no way that ABC probably even knew he did that.
They had no idea, I'm sure.
They had no idea. So you could have gotten away with he violated his contract by doing this podcast. So we wish him the best moving forward. We've decided to go in a different direction. And not even address what he said. You could have gotten him out of that way, and they didn't do it. Like, what is so special about Mel Owens?
I don't know.
That they had to fight through all of this negative publicity to put him on. And I guess some people will say, hey, any publicity is good publicity, and that's what they're hoping for.
I don't know. I think they chose the path of least resistance, whether it was like it was going to cost money to like halt production or pre-production and whatever, and they just figured we'll get through this. We've dealt with leads who have done worse, and but I mean, I'll be watching because it's my job and also because I still want to watch, but I am am really worried that this is going to do this is going to put the Golden Bachelor in an even deeper hole than it was, and that's going to be hard.
I think when I came across that podcast and was sent to me, that clip was sent to me, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and I was like, well, it should be easy to replace him. They still got a few weeks before filming.
Sure.
And outside of the Hulu event where he was announced that day as the Golden Bachelor, they haven't promoted him once. He wasn't even on the BachelorNation.com website. Yeah. He's never done a Bachelor affiliated podcast. He hasn't they haven't been pumping him and throwing him down our throats. I don't think there are billboards out there with his face on it. Like, because if there was a faction out there that said, look, we've already done so much publicity and promo around this guy, there's been none. Like, only thing people know is there is going to be a Golden Bachelor season. But I went around looking. There was basically nothing.
He had one portrait, from the press release, and then so I don't know. I mean, it will be very interesting. I'm going to the set, and I'm going to have to talk to the women and the exec producer, and later I will talk to him about it all. And all I can hope is that they've gotten their party line down, and or all I can assume is that they've gotten their party line down, and they will be we
almost know, Kristen, we almost know how this is going to go. We know that he's going to say, I totally regret saying that. I'm going to give these women a chance. And then at the end of the season, after he's had a month with some of these wonderful women, he's going to say, boy, was I wrong. Yeah. I really prejudged. I judged the book by its cover. Yeah. But again, I'm sorry. The day after I found out he was our Golden Bachelor is the day I found out. Didn't take long on a Google search to find out his ex-wife is someone he was married to for 20 years. That was 20 years his junior. So I said it the day after, and I said, look, I know nothing about Mel. This was back in April. I said, I know nothing about Mel Owens, but knowing that his wife is 20 years younger and knowing that I'm assuming the Golden Bachelor is going to keep in lockstep with their first 2 seasons, that every contestant is going to be over 60. There's no way this guy's going to be interested in 60-year-old women when he's had a wife 20 years his junior for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's not. So he's not believable. And I said,
he's not believable. And whatever, he will get swept up, just like all of them get swept up in the, sort of bubble of the show. And, in the moment of the finale, whether he proposes or not, if he chooses someone, which I assume he will, he'll be, I'm sure in that moment, he'll believe like, yes, I can be with this person. But like, people don't change that much, that once he's out of the bubble, I don't believe, I would be shocked if this relationship, whatever ends, relationship comes out at the end. I would be shocked if it lasted, happy if it lasted, that'd be great. But I don't think, a man's preferences really morph to that degree. So,
in such a quick short time. On June 4th, he said, I prefer women to be 45 to 60.
Yeah.
I don't think that's changing in a month, basically.
Nope.
So
I
wanted to end with this. Since you're the TV critic at EW, obviously you watch a lot of shows. There are 2 shows that I want to bring up to you.
Yes.
That one is airing and one is going to be airing. The first one is, I didn't even know this was a thing until a friend told me about it. And now every single clip I see on my Twitter For You page is all the raunchy scenes, and that's The Hunting Wives.
Oh, yeah.
It is nothing but Brittany Snow and Malin Ackerman making out and having sex. Like,
good for them.
Yeah, it is just, and people that are watching the show that I've spoken to have said it is just so messy. The whole show is just the amount of sexual innuendo and wives pegging their husbands. Like, this is not a show. What have you heard about this? Is it like, Are you watching it, by the way?
I haven't watched it yet.
You're
It
aware,
is not.
though, of what it is.
Yeah, I am aware of what it is. I think it's really interesting, like that. It was originally made for Stars, and then
Oh, it was.
obviously
Okay.
Star. Yeah, I think it makes sense for Netflix because they are really leaning into the sort of mediocre but messy soap. People love that, the type of show that you can kind of have on in the background or while you fold your laundry. And I think it's always nice to see shows that were made and then like dropped by a network get rescued by another network, and good for Netflix. It is not. None of those actors are really my cup of tea. They're like, I don't know, they just, it is not. It is something that I think makes a lot of sense for Netflix, like Waterfront. What was that other one that they recently had that is basically, it's like a Yellowstone light. They have a lot of these kind of mid-level soapy, messy things like Sirens, which isn't as what's the word? Isn't as raunchy, but it's a whole industry over there, and I'm not surprised that it's being talked about.
Yeah, anybody that hasn't heard about this or wants to maybe not even dive in, but you just want to see some clips, if you just put The Hunting Wives in your Twitter search bar,
you will find plenty.
You'll see basically what this show is about. And I'm just like, are these just the clips that people are talking about, or is this most of the show? And it's like, no, this is most of the show. Like Brittany Snow and Malin Ackerman are just nonstop with each other, and a lot of nudity on this show. It's all over Twitter. And I was just like, I had no idea about this until Monday or Tuesday when it came out. Yeah. But yeah, this is very popular. The other one that absolutely got me going, and I cannot wait for this, and this just came out of the blue the other day, this Happy Hours with Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson. Happy Hours, is that the name of it? You see this that came out, that Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson?
Yeah, they're making a show. Or is it a show or a movie?
They said it's a trilogy, so I'm assuming it's a 3-part movie. But the fact that when I read the tagline for what this is about, they said it's about Katie Holmes, who's also producing and directing and starring in it. Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson are an adult couple that reconnected after being a couple in their young lives. And I'm like, how in the world did this, one, get kept a secret, and two, all of a sudden they're filming it? Everybody that watches this is going to look at this as Pacey and Joey. There's no other way to look at them.
Sign me up. I mean, it's like the before Sunrise trilogy, only, for, the Dawson's Creek era. I'm so happy that Joshua Jackson, like I'm still mourning the loss of Dr. Odyssey, which I loved. So I love that this is happening, and I think it's going to be huge for them.
Was it weird to you that the announcement came out and then all of a sudden that same day the pictures of them filming in New York were like, I thought it was just going to be an announcement, and then all of a sudden
I think they probably when they were filming in New York and saw the paparazzi, the studio, it was probably like, we got to announce this now because these photos are going to come out. So I think that makes sense, and it definitely hits right in the heart, to see those two together. So
Kristen, I said this. He's recently divorced. I don't know where she stands. I just know she's not married. Everybody and their mother, when they watch this trilogy, is going to think or want them, why don't they just get together in real life? Like, it would be the Dawson's Creek community would absolutely lose their shit over it. I would lose my shit over it. I want them to be together. I think like it's coming. I think they have to know that it's coming.
Good for them, that's smart, and
it's going to get eyeballs on this trilogy.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if they can tease us with that as long as they want, in terms of, and I won't blame them if they are toying with us and making it seem like they're maybe really in a romance, because it's going to work for them and it's going to work for us. So, they seem, and I think obviously she, I want her to be happy. She survived a she survived Tom Cruise, so I wish her all the best. And so if this is, they can toy with my emotions all they want with this trilogy, whether it's real or not. I am just happy for them.
Well, Kristen, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I'm always happy to do it.
Enjoy this weekend. Say hi to Mel for me.
Oh my gosh, I will. I'll be like,
say we're all rooting for you, Mel. Good luck. I'm
not going to lie to the man. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't wish him ill. I think he's going to have.
He's got a lot to answer. He's got a lot to answer for. Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, like, if he did something or said something where it was like he made a problematic statement, like you can say, like, okay, I appreciate the apology. Let's be better moving forward. This is more of a preference, which doesn't fit with the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, exactly. And you can fault him and them.
Yeah.
For taking this job, because.
And like you said, I am interested to hear when you talk to the women. I am interested to hear what they have to say, because I know every single one of those women was very well aware of what he said. So
there's no way they couldn't have been.
Why did you choose to still come on this show knowing that Mel was the person?
I think.
Do you believe him? Do you honestly believe that he would be interested in somebody over 60 when he has said, just being honest, my age range is 45 to 60?
Yeah. So.
Well, good luck with that. That's going to be really
interesting. Thank you so much. Yes.
Can't wait to read your reports on that. Kristen, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Always happy to. See you later. Bye-bye.